Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Thingamajigger Thursday here at Tucson Acres. In today's episode, I'm going to share next episode's mystery tools with you. Then I'm going to share the results of my year-long quest to find the best work boots. But up first, our last week's mystery tools. So we'll start off with the orange handle doodads. And we had tons of guesses on everything, but there was only one guess that was dead on with these. These are C.S. Osborne canvas stretching pliers. They do look very similar to sheet metal working pliers that you would use for, bending flashing or any type of, especially like duct work, that kind of stuff. They do look similar, but these jaws are what really give it away. They're interlocking jaws. Primarily what these would be used for is stretching canvas over a frame, a wooden frame, like for painting. They're also used for upholstery, indoor, automotive, that kind of stuff. Here's just a real quick demo. They can lock on really, really tight. They basically won't let go because of those interlocking jaws. Then this little nubbin here is meant for leveraging off of the edge of a frame or, sofa or automotive seat, whatever the case might be. And you stretch it on, tack down your canvas or whatever material you're working with. They're also used for leather. You can lock onto leather, really stretch it tight over, again, say car seats or a bar stool or whatnot, and tack it down from the underside. And again, for leveraging. Gonna hand these off to the missus. I don't ever do any of that kind of stuff, generally speaking. Moving on, don't forget that. Next, we'll take a quick look at these. Again, only one person had these correct, and honestly, I had no clue. I had to look them up myself. These are actually for, I believe it was 1960s, 50s, 60s, 70s Chrysler door handle clip pliers. That's what they are, and I don't have any Chryslers, let alone old Chryslers, but yeah, they're door handle clip pliers, specifically made for Chrysler, and the model number, they're Katie Tools number 435. Up next, this one here, it's not too awfully hard to kind of guess what they're used for, but personally, I've never used a tubing bender like this, and that's what this is. This is a Katie Tools 2189 tubing bender. It's actually 4-in-1. So each one of these little rollers here, well, not even a roller, it's a die, has two sides to it. You can see right there, this one's 5/16 and 3/8. And if you look at it from a side profile, you can see one channel is bigger than the other side. See how that one's bigger than this one? Same thing with this die here. We've got a 1/4 inch and 3/16. So we'll give it a quick shot here. They've got a little dimple here and a little nipple there, and they lock into place. So 1/4 inch is facing the bending side. And I'm going to compare it to a handful of other benders that I have here. This is probably the most common type of tubing bender, and we're just going to practice on a little bit of brake tubing. This is another common bending tool, tubing bender. This one I had never really seen up until a couple years ago, but this is a tubing bender. And then my all-time favorite is this rigid 394. They're all 1/4 inch. We'll go over price range here in just a minute, but let's get the testing underway. So we'll start with the simplest one. Just notch it in, bend it over, right? Now this one you could go all the way over to 180 degrees, but you can see it does kind of kink the line. Come on, focus. It does kind of kink the line just a little bit. It's not all that great. And since we're doing tubing bending, I'll share my favorite tubing cutters with you. These rigids, you can get these at the Home Depot. This one here is by far my favorite. It's a ratcheting quick release, and it's from 1/4 inch to big, 1 5/8 inches. The 1/4 inch being at the smaller end, it does have a little bit harder of a time because it doesn't go down all the way. But they just run so smooth. It's really impressive. Now we'll move up to the spring style. You just slide your tubing in there, find the end of it, you can bend it by hand, and then the spring will just pop right off. Now I overbent that a little bit. It did kink it just a smidge. I'll try to bend it just a little bit less so that you can see that it doesn't normally kink it quite so bad. Do like a 90 degree. See, it didn't really kink it that bad, but that is a pretty wide turn. Now we'll try these guys here. And these work pretty good. These are probably the most common type of tubing benders. They only go up to 90 degrees, generally speaking. You can get it to go a little bit further than that. They do leave a nice bend, and it's 3 sizes in one, so that's handy. They're fairly inexpensive too. So you can run it around, and you can get it to go a little bit further, but you certainly aren't getting 180 degrees out of it. Now as far as the bend itself, no kinks, pretty nice. So those do work, and these have been kind of my go-to for a long, long time. Now we'll try the KD ones. You just kind of get it in there. You can squeeze it down. And it does put a pretty nice bend into it. And you could wrap it further if you wanted to. Okay, and it leaves a pretty decent bend. I can't lie, you know, it's not bad. Now my favorite of the group is this rigid here. These things are so strong. You could probably bend solid rod, 1/4 inch rod with these guys. They are definitely the most expensive, generally speaking. This set brand new retail is usually close to $100. I looked them up on eBay, and you can find a used set for anywhere from, you know, 25 to 35 bucks on average. One of these, the Blue Point models new, are pretty expensive, you know, 45, 55 bucks. But you can find them used for 15 to 20 bucks, and you can honestly get the Harbor Freight models or AutoZone models for brand new, like 20 bucks. So these really are hard to beat. And I've used these guys before on heavier duty stuff and snapped the handles clean off. These are generally aluminum. They're not super strong. But these guys here leave such a clean bend. So you open it all the way up, get your lock in place, just like that. And then you can go all the way up to 180 degrees. And it's got a nice little dial indicator for you. It is a little bit more tricky to get them out of there, but it leaves such a nice bend. No kinks, no nothing. So if you're gonna be doing lots and lots of bending, a pair of these is the way to go, and they come in all sizes. I have the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch, and I absolutely love them both. All right, moving on to next week's mystery tools. So I've got a whole pile for you, and I'm doing this because I think I'm gonna start doing thingamajigger every other week and then doing the inside look on the off weeks. So we've got a bunch here. We'll start off with this bugger. I'm not even gonna bother hiding the tag on it. I don't think you'll be able to read the model number anyway. It is Heath. Heath is the brand. And for those new at the channel, go ahead and take a guess at what these things are. You can throw your guesses down in the comments. I'll get back to everybody or reply in one form or another, whether it's just a thumbs up or Yahtzee or bingo or something like that. But it just keeps it a little more interesting. So here's number 2. Alrighty, moving on to number 3. Now this one I'm not going to show the actual numbers on it because that makes it a little too easy. I don't think this spring and bolt are part of the tool itself, but it's threaded on the inside. It's got this hex on the back. Alrighty. Now probably my favorite of the group is this tool here. These are brand name KD, but that's all I'm going to tell you. Really snazzy. Holy cow, they got these weird little jaws in here. You push this button and it opens that secondary jaw within the jaws. Very, very unique, I think. So, alrighty, moving on. Now this one here, I will be really impressed if anybody figures out what this one is. 2-piece construction. And that's it. There's nothing else about it. There's not even any stamped numbers on this thing. Alrighty, there's your mystery tools. You got 2 weeks to figure out what they are, and we will be back with those. And since we're at it, I'm just going to go ahead and throw out the stumpers from the past year and a half one last time. Maybe not one last time, but just again to see if anybody out there has any thoughts on what these things are. Now, this one here, we know what it is. I'm just wondering if anybody can figure out the brand, the make, model number, anything like that. But there's the rest of them. These are HKP handles. It's just this part right here that we don't know what it is. And it even has that on it. It says tool number 0090NG as in golf, November golf. These two plug looking things. No clue, no numbers, no nothing. This is, I think, the very first tool on the channel or on this series, and we still don't have a description, model, anything. It's got to be a puller of some sort. We just don't know what for. Again, no nomenclature, numbers, stamps, nothing. And this goofy little thing, I don't know, no idea. And finally, the boots, the end of my boot saga. It's taken me almost a year now. It was May of last year, 2024, that I embarked on this quest to find the best work boots. And for me, it ended up being JKs. I went with the JK OT Pro Bisons. Yes, they're pricey, all right? So the runner-up was the Quarry, the Danner Quarries. They're partly made in the USA. They're the next tier down in the price brackets, I guess you could say. I like them, they're okay. I just know that they're not gonna last as long. The JKs, I'm gonna have a whole video about this. Hopefully it will be wrapped up today. Come out today or tomorrow or the next day. It's been a really long, frustrating process, but the JK boots, in my eyes, came out best for me. The biggest issue I ran into with all brands across the board, Thorogoods, even the JKs, the Danners, every single brand, they're not wide enough for my foot. And then they kind of cheat you because they try to put a steel toe in say I wear a double E on average, and they stuff a steel toe in there, it's no longer a double E. So JKs without the steel toe, because even their steel toes ended up being too narrow. This is a 10 triple E in size, and with the steel toe 10 triple E, they were too narrow. My toes were rubbing on the steel toe. My toes are still touching the leather right now, but the leather doesn't hurt, right? So that's what I got. That's what I came up with. Please check out the video. I'll put the link in the description if I manage to have it done in time. Outside of that, I do want to say thanks for everybody checking out the channel. I'm going to be slowing down a little bit. That's why I'm doing the every other week thing with the two different things. We're in springtime / winter / summer up here in northern Michigan. We got over a foot of snow in the past week, so I've been spending a lot of time on the computer. I'm sure my subscribers have noticed that I've been dumping a lot of videos. I'm finally starting to catch up on my video editing. That is by far the hardest part of having a YouTube channel, is at least for me anyway, is the video editing. Learning the software, it takes hours to scrub through all of the information, and then you try to get rid of all the rambling like I'm doing right now. So I apologize for that, but I'm getting kind of burned out, and I need a little bit of extra time in between. So a big thanks to everybody. I'll be bringing out more videos and more content. I would love a little bit of feedback from my normal viewers, my subscribers, along with new viewers on things that you think I could change or things that you would like to see on the channel. I kind of bounce all over, and I know that hurts my channel as a whole, doing, you know, firewood on one video, and then car maintenance on another video, and then homesteading stuff on another video, and then fixing a kitchen faucet. I'm kind of bouncing all over. You know, the biggest channels out there, like Project Farm or Wrangler Star, or all the big channels, are usually one niche oriented, right? And I know that I have a lot of van life viewers or subscribers, and most of my content isn't about that. Or I have a bunch of subscribers for the boiler, the outdoor wood boiler, and a lot of my content isn't about that. So I apologize, but at the same time, it's kind of in the middle, and it is getting tough, and I'm gonna probably have to make a decision here soon if, you know, what direction I wanna just stick with. Because this bouncing all over, you know, this isn't cheap. You know, doing a YouTube channel Takes time, takes money, the equipment, learning curve of learning how to use everything, learning how to use the camera, learning how to run the software. And I've got several $1,000s invested. I had to buy 2 new computers to be able to handle the video editing software. So I really would appreciate some feedback from anybody on one particular direction that you think would work best. Ultimately, I know it's up to me. I'm not, laying it on anybody. I'm going to have to come up with a plan at some point. But I'm just saying thank you overall. I appreciate the audience and the time that you guys have given me. So with that said, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week on something or other.